Hey, it's Marty from Aspect LED. Today we're installing RGB L Series strip lighting underneath the bar at Utepils Brewing here in Minneapolis. We apologize for the sound as they're actively brewing and kegging beer as we speak. We're going to go over a step-by-step process of the install, so let's get started. For our installation today of our 57-foot bar top, we will need 4 reels of our L Series RGB LED light strips, 2 200-watt power supplies, 2 wireless LED controllers, a 4-channel 4-zone RGBW remote, RGB wire, aluminum channel and lens, and aluminum channel end caps. I'm marking where I'm going to put the holes for mounting the channel under the bar. We're mounting them approximately 20 inches apart. Now that I've measured out my distance for my holes, I'm drilling them out and countersinking them. Our next step is to install the aluminum channel under the bar. I've already installed it under the first part of the bar, and we're continuing on over here. We put the wires through the end cap before we mount the end cap in the channel. This makes it a lot easier and gives a more finished look. And the end cap slides into the channel at the end. Then you peel back the tape and begin your channel or your strip into the channel. I like to peel the tape back as I go and press the strip into place. When you're laying the strip, the length of your strip may be longer than the channel you need. The only place that you can actually cut the strip is along the lines that are indicated here through the copper little pills here. And then to cut that, we can use scissors or another sharp, clean instrument. You want to make sure you make a very nice, clean cut right through the middle. So after we have installed our LEDs in the channel, our next step is to snap in our lens. In this installation, we are using clear lens instead of diffused because we are using our RGB L Series strip. I then drilled a hole through the bar to feed our wire extension through to the opposite side, where we will eventually store our receiver and power supply. We are putting this into heat shrink tubing, and because of that, we don't want to have all of our terminals come together in one lump. We want it to be nice and smooth, so we've cut and staggered our connections on our lead here, and that'll make a much nicer product when we're done. So I am combining my 2 red strip leads right here, and we are going to be putting these into a butt terminal right here, and I want them to lie nice and flat, so I have staggered them. And so it takes a little bit of work to figure out where to trim your wires so that everything will lie nice, because we're going to put heat shrink tubing over it in the end. So now that we have all the wires hooked up, the next step is to connect the receiver to the power supply. So the black wire is the negative wire, connecting that to a negative terminal. And the red wire is the positive wire. And as always, a tug test to make sure that they're not going to pop right out. And I'm tightening up the unused terminals so they don't rattle. Always make sure that you put this wire retainer back in place after you install a wire. This keeps unneeded pressure off of the terminals. Now that we have the power supply powered to the wireless receiver, the 200 watt power supply actually has two sets of leads. We are only going to be using one, so I'm going to terminate the other one with butt terminals. If you're using wire nuts, you can also use those. All we're doing is keeping the two connectors from touching each other, and we'll tuck them out of the way. I always like to leave a little bit of a service loop on the wire so that everything's not pulling tight. That gives some room for movement with changing seasons, temperatures, everything. You want to have some slack in your wires. So that being said, I'm going to be cutting my wires right here. And now I'm going to strip them and put them into the terminals, the corresponding terminals on the receiver. The first wire that I'm going to put in will be the black wire, which is actually the V positive wire, the V plus wire, and that's going to go in the first terminal here. As you can see, there's two terminals here for the V positive wire. So the red wire will be next, and we're actually going to go to the third terminal here, which is the red terminal. You also want to make sure you don't have any loose wires like this, because they can actually jump to the wrong connection and make our lights not work. So there are actually another set of terminals on here for a white strip. The strip that we are doing is only RGB. Some of our products do have a white strip, and they would put the white wire in here. It's okay to not use that in this application. Now I'm mounting the controller. I left some slack in the wire. We're going to zip tie that to keep it out of the way. I have to put the second screw in over here, and then we'll mount the power supply. So we installed the power supply and the Z-Series controller, the wireless controller, underneath this lip. We want to have a seamless installation and have it out of sight. So it's all tucked underneath this ledge and screwed up, and it plugs into a 120 volt outlet. Now that we've hooked up our power supply and receivers on this end and the other side of the bar, it's time to program the wireless remote. It's really easy. Turn the wireless remote on by pressing the power button, and you can see the red light has come on. Then select the zone you want to use. After you press the zone button, press the learn button on the wireless receiver. And then finally, press the color wheel. You'll know that it's working when you can see the lights changing as you run your finger on the color wheel. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more of these informational videos in the future. Let us know what you think in the comments.